welcome into the OnlyBets Sports Podcast with your host, me, SternBets, and DrewDelucchi here to recap this weekend's incredible sports crescendo. How you doing, man? How was your weekend? I may have not invited him in yet, but we had really just an incredible weekend. Hold on, let me get him in here. Some news in the PGA tournament. I went 1-for-1. Scotty Scheffler came back from an absolute horrific round one. I think he was plus 4 or 5, even maybe plus 6 at one point or another, and then he made it all the way back to make it into almost a top 10 finish. But we did cash our top finishing parlay there. We didn't hit the Matt Fitzpatrick over Harris English. Harris English decided to really turn it up in the last 3 rounds. He shot a -6 on the last round over there. And then we failed by just 1 stroke, honestly. We should have cashed that. Matt Fitzpatrick struggled in the last few days of the tournament. Looking ahead today, we have some news. We're coming back from basketball. We're going to have baseball. I almost had a baseball play today, actually. But I didn't necessarily want to fade the Dodgers right away. Hey, Drew, just request to speak one more time. I'll try to get you on here.
I should be
Because
good.
I really want.
Can you hear me?
Oh, you're here. All right.
Yeah.
Welcome in. Sorry. I was just filibustering until then. How you doing, man? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I'll let you know I do have a meeting in 27 minutes, so I should be good. But my weekend was overall pretty good. I was in Vegas, enjoyed it, and I actually enjoyed doing cash wagers, staring at 20 TVs in a sports book. So it was pretty fun to watch. I watched some great games. That Michigan Duke game was just complete cinema. Of course, it's a game that doesn't necessarily 100% matter to like conference standings and really seedings because it's a non-conference game. But it was a great defensive game. I honestly didn't necessarily expect like a defensive game. I thought like a dam was going to be broken that game. I didn't personally have anything on that game. But something I will say I noticed with Michigan and what makes Michigan even more scary is Michigan played their absolute, like, I would say C- game. That's being generous. And Duke played like their B game. And Michigan still came close to the wire. Duke was playing really good defense in the paint. But something I will say, Michigan was missing open threes like I haven't seen them miss, and like missing mid-range jumpers, and they weren't playing as great defensively I'm used to. But I'm looking forward to both these teams are 25-2 for a reason. So both are going to end up with the 1 seed at the end of the day. It was just great to watch. I'm glad it was close overall. But yeah, we have a smaller slate today, but we actually have some good games today.
We have some unbelievable games today. We have Houston, right? They're playing Kansas. That's your team. I'm very. You know what? Let's just start off right there.
Yep.
I don't care if you have a pick in this. Can you just break this
Oh,
down
yeah.
a little bit for us, because this is definitely the game of the night, right?
Yeah, so one of the most shocking, probably the most shocking, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to be biased. I hate to say this, but the most shocking loss yesterday was Kansas losing by double digits at Allen Fieldhouse, where they rarely lose. They were like 10.5 point favorites in this game, and Cincinnati, I'll give props to them. They're making every three possible. It looks like their offense looked like Kansas offense usually looks. And something I loved is we had a couple of our top players in Melvin Council and Flory Badunga called out the team saying, "Hey, we didn't take him as seriously as we should." They weren't trying to discredit Cincinnati. They're basically saying that, like, "Hey, we took him light." Like, basically, like they were looking at the spread. They didn't say it directly, but they took him light. And and Houston lost. Like, think about it. Both teams with 2 of the best home court advantages lost at home. Of course, Houston lost to a better team. But both these teams need these wins. But something Vegas did, which was a big mistake, is they made Kansas underdogs at their home. So Kansas, if you guys don't know, is they've only been officially now underdogs 4 times, twice this year, in a conference game, right? And they've never lost under Bill Self when they're underdogs, according to Vegas at home. So they're undefeated in 20 plus years when they're listed underdogs. They've only been listed as underdogs 4 times in conference, 2 times this year already. Now this will be the 3rd time this year, which has never happened for Kansas, where they're underdogs. And also, Bill Self has a crazy stat. He's 39-0 on big Monday games. So that means when he plays on big Monday at Allen Fieldhouse, right? He is 39-0. So it'll be very hard to bet against Kansas for that reason. In my personal opinion, I know it's hard to see any of these two teams that are elite losing back-to-back games. But if I had to make a pick, my unbiased perspective with all the stats and just the trends, I would definitely say take Kansas here over Houston.
Oh yeah, take the plus money or the points, either one. How did you feel about the over in this game? The total sitting at over 137 and a half, and not so bad, near even money right now, but it is moving on some books. Should we be worried about that? Should we be jumping on it?
So,
Any thoughts?
so something I will say is something you're going to look at is two of the greatest coaches of all time, and Kelvin Sampson and Bill Self. Both are masterminds in different ways. Of course, when you think of Sampson, it's just suffocating defense. They'll pick you apart. When you think of Bill Self, think of like methodical defense and also like a methodical offense. Both these teams are really slow, in my personal opinion, but they're also very like people forget. Like I know, like people when they think of mainly defense, but people forget like these two teams are some of the top offensive conference metric wise this year. So don't be fooled by Kansas' last performance. But both teams are very efficient and can score. The first half will depict, in my personal opinion, how high score is and how fast this game is. Because if you see that, like, because the beginning of the first 5 minutes, I think will personally depict it. Because if you see that each team is only spending 15 seconds to do their shots and they're able to attack easily and in the paint, I think this will be 137 is about right. I think this game can either be like an 80 to 70 something game or it's going to be a game in the 60s. So Houston wants the game in the 60s, Kansas wants the game in the 70s. So I wouldn't necessarily touch the over under if you do one.
All right, yeah, that's an excellent live look over there. Definitely, we are trying on the Only Bet Sports podcast. We are trying to get a live betting sheet for every single sport out there. I know Prince is working on a soccer sheet for us today, and we'll come back to that later. But why don't you lead us off with what your best bet is in NCAA basketball today?
Yeah, so personally, I didn't see any edge want to touch it with the Louisville North Carolina game. I know people on Louisville, right? Because I know people are gonna ask about this because Wilson's still out, but I mean, I just saw North Carolina go to. I know they're a bad Syracuse team, but hey, they weren't favored in that game, and they won. North Carolina's no matter who they have, Caleb Wilson being out, they're still like I believe undefeated at home. Is like 16-0 or something at home, and Louisville is a decent road team. They're really good. In my personal opinion, they rely on heavy 3-point shooting. North Carolina. That's an ACC matchup that can be very unpredictable. It may be a hindsight is 2020. Like we may see Louisville, like blow them out. Like I should have known, but you also could see UNC somehow win that game as well too. So I don't know if you had a question about that game, but I don't trust that one.
Yeah, I went full into it. I saw value on Louisville, and I took the -1.5 last night at -115 over at
Oh, that's
MGM.
good value.
I would play this up to -120. I would honestly
Oh,
take this at -2, -2.5. I think that if Louisville wins, they're going to win by at least a possession, if not two. I just was looking at their metrics, and they're pretty. I think they have the rebounding and defensive advantage. It looks like they have a slight advantage on shooting. I know that North Carolina is not an easy team to go in on the road and beat, but I think that Louisville, being that road team that can go out and get it done, is definitely live here. So I like getting the value near one possession on the Louisville side, and that's going to be my best bet for the day.
I will say because I saw like the -3 yesterday. That's good. You got a -1.5. The like anything like for this kind of game like -3, -3.5. 1.5. That's what I will say, guys. Either take -1.5 or take the juice for this kind of game. But
Yeah,
yeah, if I had
100%.
to pick one team, it would definitely be Louisville, just because of the 3-point shooting ability. But yeah, for sure. My best bets, I will say, we have some Southland games. Guys that film with Southland, they are known for as Stephen F. Austin and McNeese, two teams that are vying for a tournament spot. They probably have to win their conference because of strength of schedule. But my first one I like is Texas A&M Corpus Christi at people call it SLU, CLU. Personally, in my opinion, CLU is not a good team. They're the bottom of the conference for a reason, but Vegas likes to pay them respect when they're home. I just am a fan of this Texas A&M Corpus Christi team. Minus 2.5. It's been like that for a while. I don't think this Corpus Christi team is a bad team by any means. They've been really competitive. If you look at like CLU's recent game, like UT RGV, went to their house and won by like 21 their day, and then the game before that they lost by 17 at East Texas A&M. I was on East Texas A&M. Their last win was against Incarnate World at home, and they beat Houston Christian at home. These aren't great teams in those conference. Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I think they did. Yeah, last time they played them, SLU went to Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Yes, it was at their home, but they lost by 12. And I like looking at past set of matchups, and I kind of do the data with that. But if you look at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, they're not a bad team. They play really competitively. Like they went to McNeese State and they lost by 16, but who doesn't? They only lost to SFA by 10, who's a great team. But when they face teams like this, like they beat Lamar by like 13, and then they what was the other one? Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. They also just have had overall better strength of schedule, in my personal opinion. And usually when they go on the road, they generally play better on the road. They've beaten Nichols on the road. They've beaten UIW on the road. They've beaten East Texas A&M on the road. So it's just they only lost to one at Northwestern State. So I like them for my first best bet.
Nice. Yeah. And 75% of the public and sharp money is there. Something to be aware of is that while 75% of the money and the betting tickets are AMC Corpus Christi, the line is not really moving that much, which looks a little bit fishy to me. But I do tend to agree with you. Everything seems to scream Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
So that's something you'll notice about Southland, aka people call it SoCon games. Lines don't move that much with SoCon games. I've noticed, unless it's like McNeese or SFA playing, which is weird. But speaking of did move, Northwestern State actually did move when I was surprised because usually, like I said, this conference lines don't move. But Northwestern State yesterday was -2, and now they're -3.5 versus Incarnate World. Personally, I still take. I know it's a two possession, but I still take it. I think Northwestern State, especially at home, is a much better team than UIW Incarnate World. I think they should definitely dominate them. Last time they played was a while ago when Incarnate World, I think it was like over a month ago, beat them by 2, but it was at Incarnate World. But since then, since that one, and UIW lost 8 out of their last 10 games. Northwestern State has played really competitive games. Like they've almost beat Stephen F. Austin before. Then they gave McNeese some good fight as well, but they're not really a team recently like that gets blown out by us or something, and they usually play very competitively at home. And I think UAW has an absolute terrible record away. And usually I love this conference, and usually the home team dominates this conference. Unless your name is SFA or McNeese, and unless you're CLU, who just only has, I think they only have like 5 wins all conference so far, and they're terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, anything else left on the slate today? By the way,
Yeah,
you're happy. I think you're going in and out a little bit on the
yeah.
recording. I'm not
Oh
sure
yeah, my bad.
what that's about. It could be honestly that I've had some issues with Twitter Spaces lately, and it could be on my end as well. You never
Oh
know.
yeah, definitely. My last one. It looks like I had remember he's -10.5, and it went to 11.5 last night. And I said how I think RGV is going to gain steam, and on Fanatics it already went down to McNeese -10. So it looks like RGV is gaining steam, which is good. But I like McNeese -10.5. I know I explained it to you a little bit. To when it came to why I like that. So TG has been on like a pretty big streak lately, but they've been beating up on like the lower tier teams, and stuff like that. But when they're on a big streak, They had SFA coming to their home. SFA was dominating them. They let them come back in, and they SFA won by 9 at their home. And RGV beat McNeese a while ago. It was like over a month ago. And I was and RGV just didn't turn the ball over, and that's not something they usually not do because McNeese is the best in the conference at forcing turnovers, and RGV forces a lot of. I mean, get turns over the ball a lot. Great revenge fought, and 9 out of 10. By the way, guys, 9 out of 10 home conference games for McNeese have resulted in them winning in double digits. The only one was Stephen, who was 16-1 in conference, that they didn't win by double digits. They only won by 2. So I really like, I know it's a scary spread, but now it's -10, and I really love that spread.
Okay, you could actually get this at -9.5 on Bet Rivers. I'm
Yeah.
looking right now on DraftKings. You can get their halftime, full time at -260. Is there anything that you would pair that with to maybe get that juice down?
Yeah, so I actually was thinking of a lay that I would like. So I really like the halftime full time if you want to with that. And then you can also pair the halftime full time with Stephen F. Austin if it's good value. Let me see real quick with their Stephen F. Austin's halftime because I don't personally like Stephen F. Austin's -12. I know it's -12.5 against New Orleans. I'm not a big fan. Didn't really see any edge on Stephen F. Austin for that. Stephen F. Austin is a better first half team, if anything, because they let teams back into the game, and they're honestly just
So
cruising to the tournament. So
yeah, their spread, Stephen F. Austin, is at 12.5, probably 11.5 somewhere with juice. You can get their halftime, full time at -370. If you parlay SFA and McNeese together, you can get -133 right now on DK.
that's good.
Is that a line that
Yeah.
you're looking to take?
Yeah, I would say that's a really good double up value in my personal opinion. Because I think Stephen F. Austin wins wire to wire. I think they probably lead the half by double digits, and then it's just going to be because I believe they haven't lost a half at all during conference. So I personally I like that a lot. And if Stephen F. Austin's line goes to -9.5, I would personally take that. But I wouldn't take anything over 9.5 one of them because they don't usually win a lot by double digits against teams like New Orleans is a good team. So
Yep. Well, I just locked that in, and I locked in the -9.5 on McNeese. So I'm sitting pretty here. I got that at -118. You recommend I do
keep
both?
betting on RGV for the other people. Just kidding. I love that going down.
Yeah. All right. Anything else in college basketball before we get to big boy basketball?
The only thing I'll say is I'm going to be rooting for the Jayhawks. It should be a great game. It's the last game of the night. So yeah,
Yeah, that's going to be such a fun game. I'm excited that we get the Louisville game at 7. All right, I think it's at 7, and then we get the Houston Kansas game at 9. It provides us a perfect segue for the entire night, which you don't always get. And then also speaking of segue for the entire night, tomorrow's slate, or is it Wednesday? No, it's Wednesday slate. Oops. But I'm looking ahead at St. John's and UConn. That's going to be a phenomenal game that I'm very much looking forward to. Tomorrow on my notes, I
yeah,
have Miami versus FSU, which is also going to be a fun game.
looking forward to
Maybe,
seeing that spread.
yeah, yes, I am. I'm waiting for it to come out as well. How you Warriors doing, man? Without Steph Curry, they're really stepping it up. I was
Yeah,
surprised. We got the NBA coming back last night from the All-Star break. We had some injuries. We had the league trying to tamp down on just purposefully flailing so that you don't, for tanking, I think that's what we call it. So it's
yeah.
very interesting to see how this NBA landscape is going, but the Warriors are doing quite well. What's the deal here? I thought I was going to be able to fade them without Curry on the court.
Yeah, so something about us, we're a very gritty team. Without Curry, we actually have some really good role players that know how to shoot the three, and great as you saw some of the Warriors with Steve Kerr's system. And I don't think Steve Kerr gets enough credit. There's some Warriors fans that still don't like him, but I love him. He is one of the best coaches at producing ball movement. He's always about finding the right shot. Sometimes it's to a T where it's like it can be the death of us because we'll have a wide open layup and we pass it for a three. But if we make the threes, we do that. We saw it with the Nuggets game. Something I want to shout out. I was watching that Nuggets game. I thought it was over, and then we went on a 20-2 run against the Nuggets, which I think is I thought was impossible because when you have Jokic and Jamal Murray on a team, I don't think a 20-2 run should out by that team. But shout out to Brandon Pajemski. He stepped up in the fourth quarter. This team, when they're hitting threes, are great. You saw the game before when they weren't hitting threes. They struggled mightily, but we got to see Porzingis though against the Celtics, and that was pretty nice to see. He didn't do too bad, so he didn't play. I don't believe. I'm a fan of this team. We're 30-27. We're still trying to make the playoffs, and I think when Curry comes and get Porzingis healthy, I don't think we can necessarily win a championship, but we can scare a team in the first round.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Really, like you said, it's just going to depend on their shooting, and if they're on point, it's going to be really hard to beat them because you're right. They do get the open looks. They are able to create enough pressure in the middle of the court so that they are left wide open on the for three. So that's going to be an interesting one. Looking ahead tonight, I'm trying to make a parlay right now. We have San Antonio versus Detroit, and I think that there's too much money and line movement going towards San Antonio right now. I really like the value on Detroit. I'm trying to pare that down to maybe get a plus 5.5 on Detroit, and then parlaying that Utah is visiting Houston. And I like getting the Rockets at also like minus 5.5 or minus 6.5, taking those two teams together. Any thoughts there?
So I don't have any Spurs Pistons game. That game kind of scares me in a way because Victor is not human and he's from a different planet. But when it comes to the Rockets, I honestly I like the Rockets cover the 14.5 personally, but to pare it down, like you said, to minus 5.5, I like that a lot.
Yeah. So that's going to be a best bet of mine as well. I do like the Louisville pick a little bit better, but you can get minus 110 for the Detroit Pistons plus 5.5, so almost two full possessions, and Houston minus 5.5. I think that's a fantastic value at minus 110 over on MGM. I'm gonna lock that in right now. I think that I really like that. Sometimes these teasers the night before do not give you the best value, even though you get the lines. Last night they were looking for, I think it was Houston minus 7 or 8.5, and then I was getting the Pistons at plus 3.5 or plus 4, and it just wasn't worth it at minus 130, minus 140. But you're gonna give me two possessions, almost two possessions, on both of these teams. I love that. So I'm definitely going to take that. And again, that's going to be the Pistons plus 5.5 parlay with the Rockets minus 5.5 at minus 110 over on MGM. I just see this as a value spot, and I know that picking two out of the three games in the NBA is risky, but you got to do what you got to do here. What about that last game tonight? Sacramento at Memphis. I don't really know what to make of these two teams. The money and the betting lines are all over the place. It looks like the sharp money's on Sacramento, but the public money's on Memphis. I couldn't make heads or tails of this. Both teams have lost. Sacramento has lost the last five in a row. Memphis has lost the last four out of their five. I guess you lean Memphis here. Just I guess that's what the public is looking at. But the sharp money is saying no. Sacramento looks like it's probably the better side here. Any thoughts on this one? I didn't
Um,
really. I couldn't make a bet on it.
yeah, so um, something I noticed actually was I feel like that over is too low. I don't think there'll be any defense in this game. I think 233.5. That over should probably hit, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think that's a sharp look. And if I'm looking at the money handles, it looks like the sharp money slightly favors the over, while the public is solidly on the under. So that's always a look that I'm looking to kind of take advantage of. And honestly, it's done
Because who's
quite well
playing
for me.
defense in this game?
Yeah, that's a fair
Let's
point.
let's be honest.
Yeah. I really wish we had Prince here to break us down. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. Anything else in the NBA before I get to Prince's live looks for the day?
Uh, no, I don't have any, but something I will add though is if you guys want to see a very loud arena, watch the Kansas game. I want to say this before I go. Kansas house is amazing. Watch the pregame. They actually have the world record for loudest college basketball stadium, and when anytime Houston enters, It gets very loud, so that's going to be fun. But besides that, I don't have for NBA or above. I'm looking forward to hockey to start up again, though.
Yeah, hockey's gonna be fun. I really surprise. I mean, I shouldn't say surprisingly, but I've done quite all right in the hockey landscape. Just in the Olympic hockey, I think I went 6-2 on my official bets. Just on men's and women's hockey. Which, by the way, what an unbelievable game yesterday morning between the USA and Canada. And just to remind folks that we had USA versus Canada in the women's Olympic hockey final and the men's Olympic hockey final, and both of those games were unbelievable. Also, side point, I nailed my best bet in both of those games, which was just take the under and take the points, parlay them together, and we were good either way because both of them ended with 1 point. I think there was 3 goals 3 points scored yesterday, and I think there was like 4 goals scored in the women's hockey final. So I'm excited to see that coming back. The NHL is a lot of fun. You have any takes on that? I think we were texting maybe on that final play. That was unreal. That was an unreal overtime goal.
Oh yeah, that's honestly, I'm going to say this. Like I know, but first time men's hockey of USA is won since the 1980 Miracle on Ice, and first time ever the men's and women's hockey team has beat Canada in a Winter Olympics. Shout out, you know what? Shout out to the Hughes. The Hughes, they were the MVPs along with the other MVP, Hellebuck. Hellebuck, like it's kind of ironic because he should never have to pay for anything in America again. But the problem is he plays for a Canadian hockey team in the NHL. So hopefully get bad blood there. But he made some of the greatest saves I've ever seen. That third period was a goalie masterclass. I felt like the ghosts of America on Ice were on the court that day, and it was a very great day for the U.S.
Yeah, it was, and you saw a lot of that emotion coming out. If you didn't think that America cared, I think you see that we do care and that we were on fire, and you saw the deflation from the Canadian side. And I'm actually going to be looking to bet on the Canadian side for the women's and men's hockey in 4 years when they come back, because I feel like they took it as a national embarrassment. And to be fair, the U.S. is a phenomenal team, but I think that they still took it as a national embarrassment, and they're going to be looking to right those wrongs. That's going to be interesting. But let's get into the world of soccer before we head off here. I know that you have to go. Feel free to sign off if you just want to give us your best bets before you go. Unless you don't have time, just go ahead and you can sign off as
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah. I'll definitely give him. Of course, appreciate you always having me on here to speak. But I would say my best one, um, Northwestern State minus 3.5, and then Texas A&M Corpus Christi minus 2.5, and then McNeese State as you stated what it is now. It's 9.5 now. So yep, that would be perfect. And then you can also do that double up of half state and SFA, a halftime, full time as well. So yeah.
Thank you. No, you have played yourself onto a permanent host position here, and you are always welcome to give your opinion and come on whenever you feel like. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. This show would not be the same without you. I would just be sitting here filibustering for 45 to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. But I wrote those down. Send those to me just in case if you can, and I'll get them on the recap screen. And my article, which also comes out on Substack every single day, is where we publish this podcast, and then it filters through Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But real quick here, we do have quite the day in soccer football for you Europeans. Funny story. We were talking about dressing my little kid up in a football costume, and my wife went and got an American football costume for him, right, with the helmet and everything. He goes and looks at it, and he's like, "That's not football," because I always watch European football. And he he was like, I meant soccer. It was really cute. Anyway, Prince of Picks, my other co-host here, he has 2 live looks here. One in La Liga, Girona versus Deportivo Alaves. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. He said that there has been 1 goal scored in at least in the last 19 straight head-to-head. 20 straight for Alaves, 19 straight for Girona. He said, look for a live playable line on a game total over a half a goal. Definitely going to be looking at that. The way I do it, I go on MGM or DK, and I'll go put $1 on that just so I can track it. And when it becomes live, it pops up on my screen. The second live look he has is in the Poland Extra Kolasa. Definitely said that wrong. Lechia Gdansk versus Lubin. Gdansk has allowed a goal in 15 straight matches and 24 of their last 30 head-to-head against Lubin. Said look for a live playable line on Lubin to score a goal. I think that's excellent advice and something that I'm going to be taking a look at too. If you're looking at the EPL, you have Man United taking on Everton. And I really, really wanted to play Man United team total over 1.5 goals. I think that there is a lot of value there. I'm going to take a live look. No official play for me pregame. But I think that's going to be it for all of us here. What a weekend. Jacob Bridgman, by the way, congratulations on your PGA win. It got a little bit sweaty at the end, but he got it done. It helps that he had a 6 stroke lead in the final day. I personally, I went 1-1 on my golf picks. The only reason why we didn't go 2-0, and I'm not including the half unit that I put on Scotty Scheffler there. I'm talking about my full unit plays. Harris English shot a -6 on the last day, and Matt Fitzpatrick shot a -1, and we missed that by 1 stroke. I thought I was golden going into Saturday. I had a -8. I had an 8-stroke lead, and then he just gave it away. So nothing you can do there. Just coming back. I think the data was there. Definitely going to be looking for more matchups in the future. In the MLB spring training, I am starting. I almost faded the Dodgers today. I think they were playing Seattle. My take on baseball and spring training is, and again, I'm just testing this locally myself, putting $5, seeing what cashes so that eventually I can come with a proven method to the show. But it looks like the teams with the deeper depth tend to win out. And when I say deeper depth, I'm not talking about the hitters. I'm talking about the pitchers. Whoever has a deeper bullpen and a better staff overall and who can go deep, I think they're the ones who are going to be winning a lot of these spring training games. So something that I'm going to be looking for, taking advantage of that coming forward. The NHL comes back. I think it was Thursday. That's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, Wednesday. Sorry, it's coming back. The Flyers, Rangers, Oilers, Kings are going to be a doubleheader on Thursday. Those are 2 games that I'm going to be really looking forward to. And then again, the UFC fight night. I thought I did so well. I had the first 4 picks nailed, and then I lost the last 4 picks, so that sucked. But the plays on the show went 2 out of 3, so that's pretty nice. But anyway, for all of us, me, SternBets, DrewDelucchi, and Prince of Picks, thank you so much for listening to us. Really appreciate it. If you guys want to pop on anytime, just request to speak. We're more than happy to chat with you. But for all of us, this is the OnlyBets Sports Podcast. Go listen to us on Spotify, like us on Apple Podcasts, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, guys.